Welcome to Tanked Up, the podcast, all about video games and craft beer. I'm Ben, and I'm joined by a puppet man of some kind, Adil Kurji.
A puppet man?
I was trying to think of what the term is, where the puppet
someone mimics you
up the ass.
Oh, like yeah, what?
Ventriloquist?
Yeah, like ventriloquist dummy. There we go. Which I suppose would have worked very well had my mouth have been closed, but
Yeah.
you know. And non-puppet man Lucy Eward.
I want to be a real boy.
That's always achievable, Lucy.
Yeah,
You can do it.
modern science allows that.
Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Oh, what a week.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Absurd.
It's been
Red
pretty slow
Dead.
on my end.
Oh, has it? You've had a slow
Yeah.
week.
Very much so. I have actually played nothing. Not even
Oh.
a level of 11.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, I
you're
played
gonna
a
come
board
out-
game.
You're going to
Like-
come out with hundreds of games.
No.
well, a board game's a game. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we can get to that. We've touched on them. We've touched on them before.
Yeah.
Should we crack a beer first?
Fair enough, and make the viewer who heard you say Red Dead and then me talk over you saying it wasn't much of a week for me just still simmer in the suspense. I like it.
It's good. It's good. I'll start because it's to hand. I'm going to drink from Collective Arts Ransack the Universe IPA. It is in a 473 milliliter can.
Is that a pint?
No,
Pint is
Pint.
563.
yes, 568 maybe, something around there. Yeah. And it's 6.8%, and it's just called Strong Beer.
Alright.
It has in it Galaxy and Mosaic,
Oh.
and they are from Hamilton in Ontario.
Oh, shit.
And it's got a very
you find
excellent
What was the name of
can.
that is an excellent can. What was the name of the brewery again?
Collective Arts.
Oh,
I
yes.
have heard of them.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I had 2 beers from them last week before.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they were doing the rounds in the UK. But yeah, their can art is, very striking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I know
I was going to say I just had 2 beers from them.
yeah.
Hold on, wait, let me jump.
Yeah.
I was feeling left out.
Yeah, I had 2 beers from them. They're really good. I think it.
I've not
A
had
stout,
anything from them before, but the stout was in the bottle shop as well. I can't remember whether there were 2 or 3 in the bottle shop. I hadn't seen them in there. I mean, I've not been to the bottle shop for maybe 2 weeks, so they've obviously come in at some point in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Whether that was the day before I went in or the day after I went in previously, but it's the first I've seen them. I've not heard of them before, so I thought it'd be a good jumping on point just to go for the straight for the IPA. As I say, I think the stout was there as well. I can't remember whether there was another. There may have been. I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. Adil, what are you drinking?
Oh, we're not going to go to Lucy first?
We can do.
I am drinking.
Wait, hold on.
Water.
But how much? Because you can actually tell us how much, given that you are drinking from a measuring cup.
600 ml.
Shit. More than a
Well,
pint.
Yeah.
It's a big night.
Yeah, I went to a tap takeover yesterday from Amundsen, who make excellent beers. Never had a bad beer from them. I think they had 15 on tap. I think I managed to try about 9 of them.
That's
Okay.
a pretty good night.
Yeah, it was really good. Most of the styles were pretty similar. Like there were like 2 Imperial Stouts, 2 New England IPAs, 2 double IPAs. So it's like there was a diverse number of styles because I had Pilsner and Sour and
Nice.
ice and everything. But yeah, I tried the ones that I wanted to. I think the 11.5%. I think it's called I think it's called something like Dessert in a Keg. It was chocolate mud cake.
Oh
I think
wow!
that was my favourite of the day.
Nice.
Imperial Stout. So that was a good one. But yeah, just taking it easy today after that.
I don't know.
It's fair. It's fair after a big night.
I'm drinking from our pals over at Good Chemistry Brewing the
Ooh.
Roar Power.
Ah, yes.
And it is the Holy Roar. Oh, there's a link to download an exclusive record sampler inspired by this beer, which is bit.ly/Roar Power.
Nice.
This beach ball of a beer was brewed with our friends at Holy Roar Records to celebrate the summer festival season. Citra Mosaic, Sweet Cherries, and Peach. Smash City. It is malted barley, wheat, oats. It's vegan friendly. The OG is 1.043. The FG is 1.006. It's 5%, only 19 IBUs. This beer suits 77% Island in the Sun, 43% burnt, and 100% of Gathering of the Juggalos.
Is that an Insane Clown Posse reference?
Yes. Oh, also it's 64% hoppiness, 22 malty, 30 bitter, 68 sweet, and 40 body. So it's not my usual jump, but I thought collaboration with a record company, summery. The weather just really turned today.
You did, yeah.
Quite chilly, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to pretend it's summer."
Do it. Eke as much out of it as possible.
It's definitely turning into stout weather.
Yeah.
Every passing day.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it's doing.
All weather is stout weather. I've had a stout at the height of summer, and I was fine.
Yeah, well,
it is quite sort of reddy orange.
Yeah.
More on the haze and slightly translucent, but still pretty opaque. Quite fizzy. Finger and a half ahead on a reasonable pour. I'm getting that sort of peachy fruitiness right off the nose, but it's not too strong. So the nose might put Ben off. But it's also got, it actually does have a bit of a malty back end to the nose. So that's nice. It's well supported.
Nice.
Shall I have a sip, or do you want to tell us about yours?
I can do. I think just to kind of jump in on yours, I think this is the second collaboration they've done with Holy Roar Records. I can't remember what the first one was called, but this one, I think, is the first can that Good Chemistry have brought out as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Is it?
Yes.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah, I don't know whether they're moving to cans or not. I don't know.
I mean, it's when I talked to the brewers in Calgary a couple of visits ago, they were all saying that that's the move forward. Now that you can buy canning machines in small because the shelf life's better.
Yeah.
Healing's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. When I've chatted with Lewis over at Bottles and Books, he always says that cans sell so much quicker than bottles.
Yeah.
They fly out of the fridges rather than sort of the bottles that, you know, he does have. I think he does have some bottles in the fridge, or he used to, but a lot of the bottles are now on the shelves and stuff, whereas the cans are in the fridge. And he says they go so much better than everything else.
You can kind of bash a can around in your bag.
Yeah.
Not worry so much about breaking glass, just about shaking the poor thing up.
Yeah. I mean, the last bastions of having bottles, Siren. I just saw on Twitter a few days ago that they were crowdfunding to start canning their beers. So I was like, oh. So they're going that way as well.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Colonel in a can.
No.
Or
Brew by Numbers have done a couple.
Oh, they really? Oh,
yeah.
That's a shame. I just like the style of their bottles and labels so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
cans are nice as well, though.
Yeah, they're a little bit more, obviously a little bit more kind of arty, aren't they?
Hey, minimalism does not mean not arty.
No, that's very true. It has more intricate graphic, I suppose, on there, or at least some kind of picture. I think the one I tried was, I forget the name of it, but it had like a distilling kit on the front.
Yeah,
or,
there was
some
one in
fermentation tanks or something like that on the front.
A black can with like beige drawing on it. Yeah, I think there's two of them. Like similar beers, just maybe different hops or something. I can't remember the name of them either.
The numbers were probably quite close. It was like a 16 and a 15.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't remember. This beer in a can. There it is. which is the Ransack the Universe. It's an IPA. It's on the nose. It's very, very easy. You're not getting a huge hit off there. A little bit of fruitiness, a little bit of tropical fruitiness in there, but it's not like pushing through massively. I didn't get it when I cracked the can. I didn't really get much when I poured either. It was more after I stuck my nose in. But flavor wise, you're getting a big hit of bitterness, but it's not super bitter. It's kind of backing up, or well, I don't know whether it's backing up. It's kind of the first thing that you get really, and almost the fruit is kind of backing up the bitterness. It feels. I mean, it is easy to drink, but it's kind of that bitterness kicks in straight away. It's quite heavy straight away, and it fades. It's got a really long fade on it, whereas the fruitiness to it fades quite quickly. I think it's more stone fruits than sort of tropical fruits, I think.
Yeah. It's a backwards beer. It's usually fruity and then bitter. Rather than
almost the fruit kind of really kicks up in the mid, disappears quite quickly, sits sort of more in the middle of your mouth as well, where that bitterness kind of hangs in your throat. It's nice. This is a brilliant IPA for a dark kind of winter night. Even though it's like nice and chilled, it's just sitting very well. They both balance out. You know, those stone fruit flavors and that bitterness kind of balance out quite nicely. I think this could very easily have been too bitter. So they seem to have struck a very good balance to make it kind of easy drinking, even though it's like 6.8%. I don't really get anything of the alcohol in there, but whether the bitterness is masking anything, you know, any additional kind of sweetness I would get from the alcohol. So yeah, it's really nice.
Good.
Really easy to drink. Yeah. So it's definitely. I mean, from the first sip I had, I thought, yeah, this is good, and it will make me pick up another beer from these guys to see what else they can do with sort of the other styles that they had in. If not, pick this up, when I know I just need some more beers just to sit in the fridge for an evening or something. So,
on the Roar Power, it's quite a bit more velvety than I thought. Not really like thick velvety, but there's just this. It's really light, but it leaves that texture on your mouth. It's quite sweet. In the sense of those cherries are sweet cherries. It tastes like sweet berry, and with a little bit of peach. Maltiness is clearly only coming through on the nose rather. There's just nothing sort of super malty about it. It's very drinkable. The taste doesn't last that long. It kind of gives you a bit of a watery taste in the end. So closer to like a juice or something.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But that velvet texture, that light velvetiness does remain. So there's this idea that it's a beer, but it's quite refreshing. It doesn't match the weather, but I'm looking at this vaguely beige, light brown table and imagining it's a beach, and that's great.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Does that velvetiness, is that coating, is that from the sugar in it, or?
I'm not sure, right? Because usually you get that thicker velvety feeling off a beer, and at first I thought that was happening, but no, it's just kind of like the roof of my mouth and my tongue sort of feel like there's still something on there, but it's very light. It's just not a standard sort of beer move.
Because sometimes when that happens, and it's sometimes it just tastes like a bit artificial. The beer sometimes like they've just put puree in it, and you've got that kind of sugar coating on your palate.
Yeah, it's not quite that. In fact, I'm actually surprised, given that it's sweet and cherry, that I'm not feeling the usual Robitussin type fake cherry. It actually the cherries are very light, so it's only when you really focus, you're oh, that's what that berryish taste is. It's clearly cherry, but it's so light. It's nice. It doesn't feel artificial at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know this has been out for, I think it released right at the start of the summer.
Yeah.
and I seem to remember you can actually pick this up from Good Chem itself for in little 4-packs.
Oh, nice.
But I still haven't tried it.
I mean, I think so. I saw it on the shelf. I'm like, oh, I keep meaning to try this. And I thought, like, I don't think Ben's had it either. All right, I'll grab it. It seemed like it might have been the last one on the shelf at Corks.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of right. I know there's a few different tastes that I don't enjoy in beers. I've never been a fan of cherry, which I think has kind of put me off. I know they had Good Chemistry. I've played with cherry before. They had like Morello Theory, I think it was, which had cherry in as well, which I didn't have. I've had a couple of beers with cherry in before, and I've just never really enjoyed them. And I mean, it was the same with like Stone Fruits until I'd had a beer which had done it well. And suddenly everyone sort of seemed to have upped their game a little bit, and Stone Fruits are being done very well in beers. So that's kind of opened up. So I suppose I just need to broaden my taste horizons a little bit more, really.
Stop being picky. You're not a child. So what I will say about this is usually when you get cherry in beers, it's the tart cherry. Yeah. And this is not that. Okay. And that's what makes it super interesting and also hard to immediately sort of spot.
Okay. I shall see if it's... I don't know whether they're still making it at the moment or whether it was just a summer beer, like limited run type thing. Yeah. So who knows if I can find one? But maybe I'll try.
I think I like cherries when they're like in a stout.
Oh yeah, or a porter. A cherry porter is a fantastic thing. Wild Rose Brewery, back home in Calgary, their first seasonal they had when they were very small was the Christmas time cherry porter, and it was so popular every winter they just bring out the cherry porter. That's the one they do at winter time. It's the only seasonal that's like really directed. The rest of them, they swap things out, try and make a different seasonal beer. That one just sits because it's so popular and it's so good.
Nice.
Good. You get to enjoy that this winter again, I assume.
Maybe. Depends on. No, it really depends on how well I write, because I might have to not go home for Christmas. Because my deadline is the 31st of December. That's a week.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Yeah, that is brutal. Well, I mean, you can come here for Christmas. We're not doing anything.
Appreciate it.
Can I come?
You can come down, yeah. We're not doing anything.
You just said no.
One guest at a time. No. I say my address at the end of the episode. Everyone come for Christmas.
Yes.
That's where you send all the
Your
presents.
mother-in-law would love that.
I'm sure she would, yeah, absolutely. Shall we move on? It's not Christmas yet. Let's not talk about the winter. Let's not worry about that. Let's talk about the games we've been playing in the last week or so. Aadil, you've already said that you haven't been playing anything at all.
Played 2 board games.
What board games have you dabbled with this week?
So I own Coup, which I don't think I've talked about on the podcast. It's fantastic. We played that. Played a bunch. My friends quite often now are like, "Are you bringing Coup?" It's like an epistemic uncertainty game. So the idea is there's like 6 different roles. Everyone gets dealt 2 cards face down. And the rolls, and you get 2 coins. And there's certain moves you can do. You can take 1 coin as your turn. You can take 2 coins as foreign aid, but if someone has the Duke card, they can block that foreign aid. The Duke can take 3 cards. The Assassin, if you get 7 coins, you can pay that and kill someone's life. They lose one of the cards. Right. So they lose one of their functional roles. But the key is, you don't show your card. It's all face down. So I just say, I'm taking 3 cards because I'm the Duke. If you don't believe I'm the Duke, you can call me out on it. But if I show you the Duke card, I try and give you that in for another card, and you lose one of your cards.
Right, okay.
And then there's the Assassin, who can use 3 coins to kill someone, but the Contessa blocks the Assassin. So it's kind of like it's all about sort of bluffing, and there's 3 of each in the deck.
Oh, okay.
So it's hard to track, right? There's
and like multiple people can be multiple roles. So you can have 2 assassins or something.
And like the captain takes 2 from another player, but dealing can be blocked by the captain or the ambassador. So like the first time you play, it's kind of just like trying to remember what the like rock paper scissors are. So when someone does a thing, you don't have to be like, what was it again?
Mm.
Like you have a card that tells you all the rules, but to be convincing, you have to be able to say, "Oh yeah, I'm a this though."
Yeah.
Right, and it's tons of fun, and you play until there's what last man standing, basically. But
Nice.
what's really interesting is that there's one turn in the game where if I am the assassin and I pay 3, and I say Lucy, I'm killing you, and you say I don't believe you, I show you the assassin card. You lost the call out, you lose a life. The assassination goes through, you lose. So it's possible to
Right,
turn
so
one lose.
Okay.
Well, it's not turn one because you start with 2 points, but you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's just a really good rock paper. It's a well balanced game, and the game I can't remember the company now, but they have some other games like the Resistance, and they're also like they trade on that like uncertainty. But they're so well crafted that it's just always balanced. It's really good.
Yeah, it sounds like my kind of game.
That's
Like,
great.
it reminds me of another one that I used to play, but I can't remember. It was just a card game rather than like coins and like stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Cheap.
pretty similar. No, I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, I really enjoyed that game. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, it sounds like one thing I'd jam with.
Yeah, it's
Coup.
really fun. Next time we get together, we'll have to grab a couple more bodies and play.
Is it C-O-O?
No, coup.
Is it
As in coup d'etat.
COU?
Cool.
I got that. Yeah, I didn't think of
I was thinking
like
of pigeons.
a pigeon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're all these roles, but you're also all pigeons.
I'm the captain pigeon. Well, I'm the master pigeon. Yeah. And the other game is Codenames, if you've ever heard of that game.
Yeah, I play Codenames.
Codenames is so much fun. Basically, your 2 teams, the red team and the blue team, each team has a spy master. There's a 5x5 grid of cards that have words. And in front of the spy masters, they sit beside each other. There's a card that shows the distribution of basically for every position on the grid. It's either going to be beige, which means it's neutral, blue, which means that the blue team wants to guess that thing, or red for the red team, and then there's one black square. And the idea is using just one word and and a number, you're trying to get your team to guess a certain amount of things. So, for example, Arsham did profession 4, and usually 4 is quite hard because you have to associate whatever these random words are together,
Right.
and then tell you how many of those words apply to your one. How many words you're trying to get them to guess. And it was like cook, cook, scuba diver, I don't know, it's smuggler and something else or whatever, right? And he said profession 4 and we got it. But usually you're struggling to get 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And so and then it's a race against which, so then the one team goes first and they have one extra clue to find, and if you guess the right one, you put a red brick over top of that clue. If the other team guesses your word, your red brick goes over that, and as soon as all your colors are covered according to the map the spy masters have, and you have to avoid the one of the square that has the black one, that's the assassin, you automatically lose. So you have to make sure you specifically, not only do you have to make sure your clue doesn't accidentally catch other words from the other team, but also you definitely have to avoid anything that might bring you close to that black word. And it's pretty fun.
Sounds it.
Yeah, it takes a bit. Usually people are like kind of skeptical in like the first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
And then you start to see the synergies, and you realize like you might be able to the person well enough that you think this sort of really big stretch will work.
Yeah, yeah.
Couldn't work with most people, but like I think you might.
Yeah, a lot of abstract thinking.
Yeah, I think I found that when I played. The first game was very sort of tentative. Everyone was just throwing out maybe one word, which quite clearly suggested,
like
that card, one card, and or 2 cards,
like church one, and they go temple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or,
Surely.
Yeah, or fly, and there's a bird and a plane, or something like that.
Yeah.
But as it went on, you could kind of see each of the people thinking, we have this thing from 10 years ago in common. If I say this word, you could probably get it. And know that you can get these 3 different things. And someone throws that word out and everyone's just like, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
And that's the key. Where the game gets fun is when you think they might be able to get something as a spy master, and you say something that's a stretch, and then everyone watches them reason their way through. It's like, wait, what is the third one? I just don't even see anything. Or it could be this, or this. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. So both solid games.
Nice. Have you been playing these at like a board game night or just with a group of friends occasionally?
We get together. We started playing games sort of infrequently a couple of months back, which is why I picked up Codenames, because I knew it from before. And I was like, oh, this will be real fun. Yeah, it's good. Philosophers make certain games more difficult and certain games more interesting.
Just a spanner in the works, aren't you?
It's then you play it with sort of, general public as such, just a random group of people. You're like, oh, this would have been, this one instance in this game would have been a classic with the philosophers.
Yeah, and usually it's not the case. Although a couple of weekends ago, it was my friend Sean's birthday, and he has friends outside of our philosophy group of friends, and they came later, and they came drunker.
Okay.
And everyone really wanted to play Werewolf already, and so we waited for them to show up, and then it was the most shit showiest game of Werewolf I've ever moderated. It was a train wreck. That happens, and I think that's more to do with the fact that like some people knew that I was bringing it and were keen, and the other people were like, I guess we're playing a game, but also we've been drinking and hanging out, and we weren't really in the mood for it, but we sort of all had to play together. But like one of the few times you can get like 16 people playing Werewolf, and I was like, this will be great. Oh no, this is not great.
Oh dear, so 16 people as well. That's a lot to organise for a board game.
Yeah. And like some people were like immediately accusing, like usually you discuss versus like, I want to vote on that person. Like you have no information, you haven't talked to anyone. That's not how this game works. We just randomly accuse and hope you get there.
That's how Law and Order works.
That's a lie I was going to say, like the police.
Yeah. Oh, it's not random, sir.
Well, that's okay. Yes, that's very true.
It might not be accurate, but it ain't random. Anyway, so those are my games.
Nice. Let's jump to you, Lucy. I know you've kind of played a few games, but there's one that I particularly want to hear about, which is the Return of Obra Dinn.
Indeed.
Is that what it's called? The Return of Obra Dinn?
It's either Return of the or Return of Obra Dinn. I can't remember. Right. I think a lot of people just colloquially refer to it as Obra Dinn.
Yeah, that's what I typed into Steam.
Yeah. Which is a ship. Have you played Papers, Please?
I have.
It's made by the same guy who made Papers, Please.
I think I may have heard of it in passing. Someone was talking about the new game, but I know nothing about it. So do tell.
It's been. I think.
How many cards do you get?
Actually, it does tie in like kind of with some of your board games and the theories of them, but I think it was being developed for like 4 years. I think I remember him putting out a demo, like a very small snippet of the game at the very start. If you've seen it, it's very striking art style. It's like very low res, like old Macintosh computer graphics in like sepia tone colors. I thought that would put me off the game, but it's I've never played anything like it, and it's just very different, and I thought that art style would be a hindrance, but not at all. So if you are hesitant just by the look of it, just give it a go anyway, because it didn't really, it's not a negative. I thought, oh, am I going to be able to play this? Am I going to get motion sick? And it's like, no, it was fine, absolutely fine. But the whole crux of the game is, I think Lucas Pope, the developer, he refers to it as an insurance puzzle adventure game or something like that.
Insurance?
Yeah, because
okay.
At the very start of the game, it's not spoilers, it's the very beginning, probably on the Steam description anyway, but you are an insurance assessor. So in the 19th century, a ship called the Obra Dinn, it was lost for about I can't remember the exact number, but between 3 and 5 years, and it's just only recently been found. And your job as the main protagonist, it's seen from a first person view, so you're not really engaged with the character, but what I thought was quite interesting in that, when you start the game, it randomizes if you're a male detective or a female detective.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's interesting. But
all those poor Twitters having to restart the game 7 times because of bad probabilities.
I think it's if you're not happy with it first, as soon as you restart it will pick the other gender. But I was just like, because I was wondering why I saw in previews that it was a male investigator. It was like, and I got a female voice at the start. It doesn't change anything. I think it's like 3 lines of dialogue at the beginning, and that's about it. So it's not. You are very much putting your own self into the character. It's not really. Right. It's a very silent protagonist. You don't really hear them speak, so it's the start and the end of the game. But anyway, your job is to find out how all the crew members on the ship, how they perished. Basically, I'd say probably about 90% of them died on this ship. And there were some survivors. And basically, in terms of the gameplay, it's like a game of Guess Who. It's like a 3D logic grid puzzle. So you're given a list of the names of the crew members. And you have to match these names to like the faces of the crew members, because there's 2 photos or drawings.
Yeah,
because there was no cameras back then. No, there wasn't. Like two drawings of like all the crew members, and you have to match the names to the faces. And not only that, you have to figure out how they died, and if it was by the hands of somebody else, who killed them, and the manner in which they died. Were they shot? Were they stabbed?
So it's kind of like a Guess Who Cluedo.
Yeah. So, it's very, distilling it down to those like descriptors. Really pretty. Distilling it down to those descriptors really doesn't give the game justice, because this is a game that is filled with so much depth and there's so many different levels to it. So basically you have this magic pocket watch, and every time you get near a corpse or a skeleton or something like that, you can basically rewind time to the point of which they died. So it's basically you're going into like a diorama, a small part of the ship, and you're looking around and seeing freeze frame the moment of their death, usually. It's sort of like, I don't know, Tacoma or something like that. If anyone's ever played it or seen it, you're kind of like going back to a moment in time, freeze frame, and you're looking at different things and looking at clues and seeing what's going on.
Just to interject quickly, I think it's important to say that it's first person perspective as well.
I did mention that, but yeah, just not to gloss it over. Thanks for bringing it up again. It is from first person view, so you're able to get in, look at small details and stuff like that. You can like slightly zoom in and like look in the distance or look at something closer up, but you're sort of like moving around. Like picture like, I don't know, like a stage play. Like sometimes the whole cast just freezes, and then one person, like maybe the narrator or something, is going around that scene and looking at everything. So, small example
like
of
Zach Morrison Saved by the Bell.
Exactly. Okay, one of the first deaths is like basically, it's alright. I just don't know how to like segue off that point, so I just won't. But like one of the first deaths is basically someone gets shot, and so you're looking around at the body. You can see that bullets pierced through him. You can see follow the bullet track and see who fired the shotgun or the
Right.
pistol or whatever it is, and piece together, oh, that person died by this person's hand. And you're basically, you have a journal, and you're basically selecting, okay, this guy, John Smith, was killed in this manner. It gives you a whole list of like the different ways in which people can die and stuff like that. So you're choosing from a list, and it's slightly forgiving in, the different things you can pick, because you're like, oh, what's the difference between, I don't know, speared and spiked? Is there a difference? And sometimes it allows you to pick either or. Yeah.
Right.
And, oh, he was killed by, I don't know, Sarah Smith or something like that. And you can then, once you get 3 different ones right, the game will confirm it to you. The way that
oh, interesting.
Because it's in sets of 3, it prevents you from like just guessing, shooting from the hip. Oh, it could be any of these. So to prevent that, it's only going to tell you you're right once you get 3 different people and deaths figured out.
Right.
Does it lock off progression? So can you only do sort of one scene at a time?
You go into scenes one at a time, yes. So you're only ever going to see one scene when it's frozen in time.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through this door, which gets you, which takes you out of the scene and back onto the boat. But from the very start of the game, you can unlock all the scenes that are available to you.
Okay.
There is one chapter it's separated into chapters, and it's told in a non-linear way. So you're going to see something from chapter 1, and then chapter 5, and then chapter.
Oh, interesting.
And it darts all over the place. But you can open up, except for one chapter, which is chapter 8, which is only revealed to you once you've figured out the identity of all 60 different crew members. You can unlock all of those chapters and access all of those scenes within like the first 3-4 hours of the game.
Nice.
It's only so all that information is there for you from the very early stages of the game.
Right.
But this is where the game is so much full of depth, and it's really surprising, and it's continually surprising, is the fact that you can piece together things looking at one scene. Just think of it as a logic grid puzzle. You can, from the very small information you're given, you can be like, okay, this, and that. But then there's going to have to be a point where you're making educated guesses, and the game actually tells you that. It's like, you're going to have to guess at some point, make an educated guess, with some of the information that you can see. And probably one of the best tips for this game is like, you're going to have to be looking around at these scenes several times over. And there's more information there than you actually think.
Right.
Yeah.
On surface level, it's like, oh, I found everything. But when you start realizing how much depth the game has, it's like, oh, I haven't even scratched the surface of how much information is in this particular scene. And this sounds quite arsey, but it's very like highbrow puzzle game, because it's like you have it feels like a game that's like acknowledging or rewarding me for knowing things outside the video game, having good general knowledge, and having, I mean, I don't know much about ships and stuff like that, so I was having to Google stuff. It does give you a glossary, like, oh, this is what a first mate is, this is what a steward is, and this and that. Right. But you also have to, have some understanding. I feel sorry for, like, I don't know, people who are not in the UK having to discern the difference between, I don't know, a Scottish accent and an Irish accent and a Welsh accent, because all the crew members have different nationalities, and that's a good way of figuring out, oh, that must be that person, that must be that person.
Where's Lucas Pope from?
I don't know. Isn't he American? Or is he?
Let's find out. Lucas Pope.
Don't know.
Or is he a Brit? I don't know. But yeah, and it's like having American knowledge of American, yeah, and having knowledge of like nationalities and countries and dialect and accents and language and stuff like that, and it rewards you for being, you know, a bit smart, you know? And like being able to like, oh yeah, this kind of tattoo looks indigenous to this part of the world, or this and that, and that. It's like there's a lot of
just like a giant Welsh dragon on the front. You're like, where is this guy from?
Yeah, but it very much rewards you from doing your own research, and it's one of the few games. It's like Her Story, where I actually had a notepad out, like noting things down and everything like that. It's. What were you going to say, Ben?
I was going to say I think the important question that everyone will want to hear is how does it compare to The Witness?
I don't think it's quite on its. I don't think it's quite on the level of The Witness, because The Witness, just from being a bigger game, The Witness is what, 40 hours? I still haven't completed that.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'll do you one over. I haven't even started.
Yeah, probably best not to. The Witness is Witness is far more challenging, and it's far more.
Okay. Well, it's also like a true puzzle game. Well, this seems like a adventure puzzle game.
Yeah, this has this definitely has more of a story. I mean, the whole story is. I mean, some things went down on this boat, so that's quite interesting in itself. But yeah, it's hard to compare. The Witnesses. There are similarities for sure, but The Witness is just done on such a massive scale that
it's just a different scale, sure.
Yeah, it's hard to compare, but it's this, you know, the Return of the Obra Dinn. It's phenomenal. I think it's better than Papers, Please. I think Papers, Please, you're obviously going to have more of an emotional attachment to the characters and the story and all the bad crap that goes down in Aristoska. But this, it's sublime. It's a really, really, really clever, interesting puzzle game that's full of depth. And I mean, it's hard to spoil it, so, you know, play it whenever you can. But I do implore people, check this out, because it is fantastic. It's really good.
It's currently, because I checked just in case, it's currently the same price on both Steam and on GOG.
What's that? $15.99, $14.99?
Like $15.29 or something. A slightly odd pence amount.
It's worth every penny. I think it took me about 12 hours to get.
That's a pretty decent chunk of time.
Yeah, definitely.
And this game, you know, it kicked my ass for a long time. It's like I was just trying to. You're thinking so much. You're just in the zone, just trying to figure things out, and it's so good. And the music is amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know what you'd call it, that kind of music, I don't know. Seaboat shanty kind of weird music. But it's really good. It's really good music. And it just perfectly
fits the mood and tone and...
Yeah, like when you see people dying grisly deaths, and it's very, you know, disturbing. It can be a bit unnerving, slightly scary, and then like when you successfully identify 3 different people and it tells you that, you get this nice little jingle, and it's like, yes, and it's just so validating. And yeah, it's a really well put together game. Fully recommend it. It'll probably be on my top 10 this year. Be surprised if it wasn't. So many good games.
What did you play it on? Is it PC only?
It's Mac as well.
Is it Mac as well? Yeah, I play it on PC. Yeah, I think it's right that because it looks like an old Mac game to be on Mac.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can set it to like IBM, the color palette, like.
Oh, really?
IBM and stuff like that.
Slightly greener or something.
Yeah, slightly greener and stuff like that. So
well,
that's
nice.
Cool.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's in my Steam basket. For as soon as I pay myself, it should be purchased. Pay myself. You know,
your own bus, you can do it.
Just 5 days early or something. It's fine.
Just put it as a business expense, like that politician.
Oh dear, yeah, because
that's
it. Well,
I need something to do on my lunchtimes, don't I? So it's fine.
Yeah, it's a good lunchtime game because you can hit a brick wall and then just sit on it for a bit and just.
Okay.
That's dangerous.
Cool.
Yes, it is very dangerous.
Also,
Yeah.
if I end up picking that game up, that doesn't help because then I'll just be talking about that game next week because I'm definitely going to play more than one game. Actually, I have an idea. I might end up playing a different game.
Oh, The Witness.
No, a game that involves computers and other people in the same room.
Game, dead story.
Maybe not virtual people, but
No,
yeah,
it's still a
Family
video
Power.
game.
No,
Yeah.
It's a multiplayer it's a one-to-many PC to people game versus the
Okay.
usual one-to-one.
it's an MMO. I get you.
No, it'd be really weird to play MMO as a team, fighting over like only I get to hit the attack button.
You run. I'll just hit everybody as you run. Okay, that's an interesting point, Aadil. We'll wait with bated breath. for
Oh
next
yeah,
week
I'm just
now.
teasing the audience with the very little traction I can get.
Nice. No, do it. Do what you can, sir. I'm going to open another beer. I'm ready. I've been ready for.
All right, I'll do the
That's right.
same.
Don't rush. I'll explain what I have first. We said it's the weather's turned, and all the seasons are good for stouts, as Aadil said. So I have a stout,
Hey.
a marshmallow stout
Oh.
from New Bristol
Which is
Brewery.
different from a stout marshmallow. Those tend to be stale.
It is 4%. A lovely sessionable
4.
stout.
Oh,
4. Yeah.
that's low.
It is a lovely sessionable stout, amped up with a healthy dose of toasted marshmallows. The classic roasty qualities of a dark ale, whilst the marshmallow add a smooth sweetness, a proper sweet treat. The malts are Marisota, roasted barley, chocolate malt, rolled oats, crystal, and wheat. The hops are Brownling Cross and Columbus, and also water, yeast, and marshmallow.
Nice.
So actual marshmallows, not just some sort of weird claim.
Yeah.
Like a sweetener or something like that. And it's
I'm interested
marshmallows
to
in.
see what it tastes like because I had last night. I had there was another dessert in the keg, and that was not the chocolate mud cake one. There was another one called I think it was just marshmallow or something like that, and that really did taste of marshmallows.
Okay.
I've gone the
Can
other
be
way.
done. Ooh.
I have a beer called Nervous Laughter. It's a collaboration between Fierce and Left Hand Giant. It is
Oh.
Okay.
a sour IPA, clocking in at an 8%.
Ooh. Nice.
Wow.
Again, I definitely was in the bottle shop thinking of summer.
Yeah.
This really is a juice bomb. We used kettle souring processes to create the pucker we wanted, added some bitter orange peel during Whirlpool, and a stupidly massive amount of juicy hops throughout. A soft and tart IPA that had us nervously laughing on the way back to the hop store many times.
Okay. So it's an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Sour
IPA.
I
That's
think
really what did
yeah.
it for me. I was like,
a Imperial Strength Sour IPA. I think Tuol, they do a really good. What is it? Is it like raspberry Imperial Berliner Weiss? And that is just it's glorious in every single way. You're just like, what is this style? What are they doing? And it's like,
What have you made?
yeah, and it really works. I think it's part of their like Mr. series, like Mr.
Oh, is
Mr.
it?
Black,
Okay.
Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Pink. I'm sure it is. Yeah, it might be Mr. Pink or something. I can't remember. But yeah, it's really good.
Nice. Right, whilst you pour, Aadil, or you may have already poured, the marshmallow stout, you get a lot of sweetness on that nose. You're also getting, it's saying it's roasty. I think that's the word they use. There is definitely roasted elements in the nose, sort of alongside that sweetness. It's almost a little bit perfumed, perhaps. I don't know whether that's the marshmallow, the combination of the two, but it's almost a little bit not quite sickly, but it's edging on that kind of a little bit more floral kind of sweetness, but a really
I know what
big
you
kind
mean.
of floral sweetness.
Yeah, that kind of perfumey, cheap prostitute smell.
Did not expect that claim.
No, I didn't think we'd hear that tonight, but
At least
That-
not from Lucy. Well, actually, no.
that definitely comes through in the flavour as well. I mean, the marshmallow is there, but combined with those roasted notes, it is a very kind of like floral sort of finish, really. The things that combine create this slightly perfumed. I never really kind of thought of marshmallow in that kind of sense, but you know, having this beer, it definitely is on that edge. It kind of jumps between a slightly marshmallow kind of sickly sweetness just over into that little bit of a more perfumed, very floral kind of sense. But actually, I think that works quite well for it. You know, it's not a super viscous, very sweet kind of stout that maybe my mind had kind of imagined from the name and having marshmallows within that. Actually, I think they've done it quite well. It's not
the texture.
I mean, the texture-wise, it's a little watery. It's not viscous. I mean,
Yeah, but so normally when we think of marshmallows, we think of like the texture of marshmallows.
Oh, yes,
I can't
slightly
easily
green.
conjure up the taste of
Yeah.
marshmallows. It sounds like what you're saying is they're literally, it's like a stout that tastes like marshmallows, not a stout that feels like marshmallows.
well, I mean, yeah. So yeah, exactly. It is very wet. It's very sort of watery. It doesn't kind of even get towards the smooth, velvety kind of viscous nature of most stouts. It's a little bit sort of more watery than those.
Might
But
be
that-
explained by its weak ABV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And that works well actually with that floral and kind of sweet balance that it's kind of going between. It's very easy to drink those roasted notes in there. A slight sort of burnt sweetness kind of just hangs around in the background a little bit, but you are hit with that kind of that floral and that sweet kind of divide kind of clashing against each other. But clashing is the wrong word because they don't clash. They seem like they should clash, but they work quite well together to kind of create a very almost. It's quite a unique sort of flavor, really, because you expect with that kind of that slight perfumed thing to have an acridity to it, to be a little bit kind of almost like rancid. You know, when you get super strong floral perfumes, they can almost be a little bit rancid. This brings that right down, and it's quite a delicate sort of flavor, really.
Interesting.
Very strong in its flavor, but it's not overpowering, I suppose. And kind of the first couple of sips, I'm thinking, I'm not really sure if I like this. I don't really see, but kind of the more I drink it, the more the complexity kind of opens up, and I can kind of see what they're doing with this.
Yeah.
It's actually really good.
Sounds like a beer I'd absolutely hate. I had a Baltic Porter from, I don't know how to say the name, BRLO. I'm just going to call them Brillo.
Yeah, I think that's what they're asking for at that point.
Brillo bad, yeah. But yeah, that was very sweet and had that kind of perfumey, kind of licorice taste that I can't stand.
Oh, licorice. That's aniseed's quite a... I don't mind it in general, but boy, does it not sit well for me in liquids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it in any form.
Another flavour I don't like.
Yeah.
Do you like anything?
No.
Well, I
Nobody likes
love
anything.
things as soon as I've tasted it, obviously.
It's slightly more orange, but very similar in color.
I mean, it looks super bronzy on the camera. Yeah.
Obviously, I've got a crap camera, but like it remarkably similar, and especially I think in the opacity and translucency, like it's
Yes.
super hazy. The head has disappeared while you were waxing intellectual about marshmallows.
Yeah.
The nose isn't that tart.
Okay.
It's actually quite sort of low, sharp nose.
Okay.
Doesn't linger. It's clearly got some sourness in there, but nothing jumping out at me.
Hmm.
Oh, that's super interesting.
Ooh.
It's not like a huge hit of sour, but boy, does it just keep going. It like crescendos sort of when you think the taste should be fading. It's like, nope, I'm sour, and then that's when the bitterness sort of also kicks in, and the bitterness stays, and the tartness then starts to fade. And so now I'm left with this like slightly sweet, slightly bitter, longer finish with not a lot of the sour in there.
Well,
It's like it's definitely that orange peel that was mentioned on the tin, if I recall correctly.
Right,
But like definitely this sort of citrus peel, sort of when you almost actually the bitterness of the beer reminds me. So like if you've ever been zesting an orange or a lemon and you've gone too deep and you've hit the lower level, and then so whatever you're using the zest in gets a little too bitter.
Yeah,
because you're not just taking the zest. The bitterness of the beer is sort of, and the peel taste is giving you that very strong idea of like you weren't using your zester properly kind of taste. It's not bad, right? I'm just saying it has that like both of those tastes coming together. It just is evocative of that like.
So is does that are you getting sort of like that sourness, but a slightly sort of tart sharpness to it as well?
So it's that tartness, but with the bitterness, which I think is just the actual hops coming through. But the two together, so I don't actually think it's the same ingredient. I think it's just the blend, which is very reminiscent of when you ever had something sort of poorly zested. You sort of go like, oh, that's a lovely like burst of citrus, and then like that, you like get hit by that wave of, oh, that's not supposed to be there. And here, it's not bad. It's such a similar experience of getting hit by that bitterness along with that sort of that sharp tartness of a zest. Yeah, which again, that doesn't sort of only appeared in the finish while everything else faded. That's the lingering tartness that remained. The rest has been sort of a nice smooth, sour trail. Okay. It's not super distinct on what the sourness is. It's a little sweet, but like there's a sweet undertone there, so you'd want to say something maybe like halfway between a regular like a lemon and a Meyer lemon rather, and a regular lemon. So like that sweetness is sort of in there, but mostly it's quite tart.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot how citrus first worked and decided Meyer lemons are mine. It's really good. It's what I like is that the finish is a little bitter with a touch of that sourness, but it's not strong. It just sort of lingers at a really low level where you want that meld to be. It's really quite good. Yeah.
Okay.
Sour IPA that we like on the podcast.
Yeah, it's that's the fact that the sour comes in sort of when the IPA's done its job, and then they linger together. It makes it sort of less of a fight, which you usually have. Like
it's very harmonious beer.
Yeah.
Yep. We like harmony.
So
yes, we do.
Any news and games? I think it's been a slow week.
Yeah, nothing big came out this week.
Nothing at all.
No.
Oh wait, I mean, I'm sure we've heard some opinions on. Didn't Assassin's Creed Origins come out recently? Or Odyssey, or whatever the one it is.
Came out.
Same game. They just
I didn't even make the connection that it wasn't called Origins. They're all the same. They're all the same. Just big, massive, unnecessary games.
I think obviously none of us have played Assassin's Creed. Yes.
Because you have to say two, because you can't say Asso. That's me pronouncing the C as a S, not a K.
Assos. Too many S's in that.
How would
two
you
in
It'd be Acco, I guess. Acco
like,
2.
Acco?
Echo
It's like-
2.
Yeah,
It's
maybe-
not actually a
maybe
sequel, but
Echo
it's the
2,
second Echo
yeah.
game. The second
Yeah.
Echo game. There we
It's
go.
like
We'll stop
6
there.
S's in that game's title.
Yeah. And
That's
ass
too
twice.
much.
Oh,
Twice
dear.
and twice.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just ridiculous.
yes. Obviously, I played Origins this year, like
And you
right at the
really
start
liked
of the
it.
year, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
And you were like, Assassin's Creed's my favorite franchise. It's gonna be #1 forever.
yeah. That's pretty much how I ended every conversation. I think around about the time.
You're like, how, you
I
were
can
actually,
remember.
I recall this conversation explicitly. You were like, I can't believe they beat Syndicate. I didn't think it was possible. But then again, I said the same thing about Brotherhood.
Oh, Brotherhood was okay. Brotherhood was alright. No, Brotherhood
That's
was
where
pretty
I
good, actually.
stopped. That's where I stopped. Brotherhood.
Yeah, I
that's
didn't.
alright.
I've not. I mean, Origins was kind of a jumping back in point for me, having played or dropping whatever.
Was
What was
Black
it?
Flag?
3. No, I didn't pick up Black Flag when it came out. I played Black Flag much later.
Right. I just knew you had played it, that's all.
Yeah. Was Black Flag this year that I played it, or last
No,
year?
it
Might have been
was
last
last
year
year.
that I played it,
Yeah.
perhaps. But yeah, so
Played
Origins.
Black
was kind of,
Flag last year.
yeah, I think
and-
so.
Oh well, I guess you didn't start Origins.
So I didn't
until,
play
like,
Origins.
January.
No, I
you
didn't play
played-
Origins
Or did you
until
play it around
this year.
Christmas? Oh,
Origins
okay.
is going to be in his top 10.
Yeah. Origins is, was brilliant. I really enjoyed it, and I really liked what I got from that game. From everything people have been saying about Odyssey, it kind of seems to follow on from Origins, but take it into a much more like action RPG kind of route.
It
There's,
seems like...
you're not just assassin, and Origins kind of played around with like a skill tree a little bit, and you could lean a little bit more into stealth, or a little bit more into kind of melee combat, a little bit more into bows and things. I think Odyssey takes it a bit of a step further, and you almost lean into like one of 3 roles.
Right.
So I don't really know how I feel about that. I want to play an Assassin's Creed game to be pretty stealthy and skulk about and jump on people from the top of buildings and plunge a fucking knife into them.
Or just use the throwing knives once you unlock them and kill everyone easily.
Well, yeah, possibly, yeah. Use my hawk to harry everyone and then appear from nowhere.
Yeah, from what I hear, the game is a lot more a grind because you have this huge level progression.
Yeah, I've heard that as
You
well.
have to
Yeah.
unlock things, but that most of the game is sort of pretty much some palette swapping. You play both sides of a war, right? So
I'm not sure whether you can play both sides, but I think
from what I understand,
with some of it you've
certain
got to
points in
make
the-
some decisions. I think.
No, but I mean like as in the plot will take you and you'll be trying to support the one side, and later in the plot you'll be supporting the exact other sides.
Do any of us own this game?
No.
Why are
But
we
anyway,
talking?
the point I was trying to make is just that it seems very much like, well, we're selling you experience via microtransactions, so why don't you elongate this game? That's what I was getting to.
Oh yeah, that's crappy.
Yeah.
That's just have an option like Tomb Raider. Like I want easy baby ass baby mode. Just don't play that. It's ridiculous.
I just
blitzed
want a
through it
mod
super quickly.
for Tom Clancy's TM Ghost Tom Clancy's. Was it Tom Clancy's TM Ghost Recon R Wildlands? I can't remember where all the things are.
Nice.
But that just reskins that game with really high-powered bows and arrows, horses.
Was that out
Same
this
idea.
year?
Hmm?
Oh, it was last year,
no.
wasn't it? Yeah.
No,
Wildlands
2
was
years
last
ago.
year.
Far
years
Cry
ago.
5 was.
Maybe just last year, but I thought it was 2
No,
years ago.
Division was 2 years ago.
No, that
Yeah,
was
like Rainbow
definitely-
Six Siege was 2 years ago as well,
That was-
wasn't it? So I think
wasn't that
Wildlands.
free?
Division was definitely
Was it?
longer than 2 years ago.
Division was 2016.
I played that in Canada.
Oh, Ubisoft! You've got far too many games.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
And still no Splinter Cell.
basically, none of us have played this game.
God.
Um,
And they had
So-
Starlink out. That's another Ubisoft game. It's like,
That's out, isn't it? That's come out.
yeah, that's a game
Yep.
that people have heard of. And
That
apparently
exists,
play.
yeah.
Yeah. Star Fox.
so can I since you've both played Spider-Man, Did they crib Ubisoft's standard move and make you go to some tall building?
Yes, towers,
and
yeah.
Did you really have to unlock maps via towers?
Yeah, you did, but you could
Fuck
do
this.
it like you.
Why is this an open world trope?
I don't know. Let's move into another open world game.
Are there towers?
Well, Lucy, I've loaded it onto my machine.
I've been doing this the entire time just to elongate this because you've been wanting to talk about it.
Just take it. Keep taking it. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red
did
Dead
you get
Redemption
delivered?
2. I got it. It's arrived. It's in my machine. It's loaded onto the PlayStation.
Is today Friday?
It is Friday, yes.
Oh, so it came out today.
It auto started, and I haven't been able to play it yet. Lucy, you have managed to play some.
I've played about 2-3 hours, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's alright.
Are there towers?
No.
Is there a map?
It's 1899 or something. There is a map.
They had fucking towers in 1899. They have pyramids in Assassin's Creed something.
There might be water towers. I don't think you can climb.
Like oil
How do you know
wells.
where you're going?
Daniel Day-Lewis is out there going mental on somebody.
Lucy,
Like,
how
I'm an
do you
oil
know
man!
what quests and things you can do if you don't go on a tower and then have your map populate with icons? This game must be infuriatingly hard because you don't know what to do.
It is actually hard. It's very involved.
Okay.
It's like real life. Bad at real life song about this game. It's just it's very simmy. Yeah. And I've actually just ran my horse into like a brick like several times. It's just crumpled.
Oh dear!
No.
Do you have to get a new horse, or does it?
Yeah, I've like accidentally no, it lives. It gets off after a few seconds. But I literally thought it was dead.
Immersive details.
No,
Super realist.
I'm sure it's gonna
Kick the bucket. Actually,
Cliff.
by what it sounds like, the way you drive, you would definitely have the course kick an actual bucket.
You'll be in the middle of nowhere. The horse had taken a bullet like 10 minutes previously in a gunfight, and suddenly it would just collapse on a side of a mountain or something. You have to skin it and eat it to keep warm and survive.
Yeah, and I've like just trodden on poor people and like a bit how it started.
The poor people? You're goddamn heartless, woman.
No, I gave money to a poor. Was he blind?
Was that after you ran them over?
No, I just ran out of town because it's like I didn't mean to trample this poor person, but they wanted to report like assault. The game's it's just fighting against me at the moment. I'm probably like. I imagine there's so many different systems. Like the tutorial probably lasts several hours into the game.
Oh wow!
Like different missions and stuff like that. But it's like you're still learning new things. It's just and it's usually why I just like most open world games. Like I just can't get on board with. Like
Yeah.
Not because it's Red Dead. I don't want to see where it goes. It is, it's absolutely stunning looking and everything's just so realistic. But I can tell it's going to be not a chore, not a slog, but it's going to be a journey, an absolute journey to get through this. Because it's like, God, I got to feed the damn horse. I'm not shaving at all in this game. I just want to look like a haggard guy. Yeah, you can shave it.
Oh, you just like the same as I did in The Witcher, just let it all grow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very early in it, so I don't really have too many impressions. I just find it funny how bad I am at the game.
Well, but I mean, that's what some of the reviews have been saying, that it's the control
I haven't
scheme
really read
almost like purposefully bad. in the sense that like like when you're on the horse, you're still controlling your dude, not the horse, and so there's that.
Yeah,
so like you press the buttons to like whip the horse or kick the horse or whatever the thing is, or even when you steer, you're moving the reins. At least that's what's being modeled, and so there's a gap between what the horse does and what you tell it.
It feels like it's fighting against you, but that's not necessary. It's I think this game is purposely made to for you to take it easy, take it slow,
Yeah, that's when
absorb everything.
What I was reading was like the game seems to want a certain pace. In that,
yes,
like,
and it's very
cover.
slow.
Like if you tried to rush through, you would just die. And it seems like they might have actually designed the control schema to a certain extent, or at least it doesn't. It isn't. The clunky controls seem to be in the favor of that pace.
Yes.
Whether or not that was consciously them making that decision, or just a nice coincidence, is a question only devs can answer.
So they've made it slow and cumbersome that you basically can't play anything else for the rest of the year.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing, because like it's not GTA. Things are much slower paced, and it's like there's not high speed supercars driving.
I was really hoping it'd be GTA.
Horses snorting everywhere, just running at everybody, crashing into walls.
But it's like I think, you know, the amount of years and time and effort this game took to make it, like, maybe we should just slow down and take the time to notice things that are just so easily glossed over in like other games. And it's like someone spent, I don't know, probably 2 years of their life like sculpting one of those pyramids in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Origins, I don't know, but it's like you just gloss over that. You're just like, oh yeah, that's distance, and that's it. Whereas this, it's like, we laboured over, you know, every detail in this game.
Fucking pay attention, because you have no choice.
Yes, painstakingly made this. You're going to pay attention. So,
do you notice when the first snowflake falls? So everything slows down so much that the first snowflake just drifts in front of you, and then the snow just hits.
The game has a randomized bullet time. So sometimes whenever you're doing, you just stop and smell the roses, because there's nothing better to do, because time's going so slow.
What I did do is, like, in one of the early missions, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's like you start off in like snowy area, and I was like, I wonder if I shot that tree, the snow would fall off the branches. And so I did, but that alerted like the gang we were attacking. And then it's like, oh, they started shooting. It's like, oh, I gotta go help Dutch. And then I
but did the snow
couldn't find a good way. Yes, it did, but I couldn't find like a good way, like down the side of this mountain. I just slid all the way down and ended up killing myself.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I've died too many times. I've died in this game like so much already, just from stupid things, like just crashing into like a stagecoach into a massive boulder to restart.
Wow.
So the thing that I kind of kind of got it from Red Dead Redemption, but that kind of pass the controller sort of multiplayer, like, you know, as you kind of do in GTA when you're a little bit drunk, cause as much mayhem, just destroy everything you can. I don't imagine Red Dead kind of lets you do that, or Red Dead 2 lets you do that.
I don't know. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can just go into a bar and start a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
run away from the sheriffs.
Yeah, and you can, but it's like, you can get in trouble very easily in this game. You can just go up to someone and hurl abuse at them and murder them, and someone like comes from
around the corner or something.
Around the corner on a stagecoach, and they're like, "You murdered that person." It's like,
yeah, dude. What's your fucking point? Murder your ass too. Is there a murder your ass too button?
Probably.
It's triangle. No matter what happens when you hit triangle, it says, "I'll murder your ass too." I should develop games.
Just gives all the sass back.
No, just that one line of sass, permanently linked to one of your primary buttons.
Yeah. Like, just before coming on to record this, someone like died. I don't want to give anything away, but
you're telling me the game. I
for
a second where you're like, I can't record this. Someone I know died, and I'm actually struggling right now. I know we're joking around, but I just need a moment.
No, someone in the game, like, they kicked the bucket, but I was near their body, and someone just came around the corner. You murdered that person. It's like, they died, which is not. I probably caused the death indirectly. Let's just say.
With your horse.
Is this when you crashed the stagecoach into a boulder, which then rolled onto someone?
No,
Is this some Rube Goldberg shit that you did that caused someone to die?
No, it's very telegraphed, and it's like this was meant to happen, but it's like maybe I shouldn't have talked to that person. And then someone came around and they're like, "You murdered?" Like, no, I didn't. So I had to shoot them in the back and actually commit a murder.
I don't want to deal with like the
sheriff.
sheriff or lawyers. I'll just kill the witness to the person who thinks they witnessed something they didn't.
Because it's like I've been reported for like assault, and that was bad enough. But murder, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen if I'm, charged for murder. Someone a bounty on me.
So I want to know how detailed this game is now. I want you to get arrested if they take you to court.
I don't know.
That's the rest of it. You just, you spend like 30 days in jail.
Yeah.
You wait till a lawyer comes.
Oh yeah, it's called, there's a secret mode called Shawshank mode, where every night you can move this poster off the wall and dig slowly into the bricks and put it in your pocket. But then you definitely have to make sure that you push the button to empty your pockets when no one's looking. And then if someone sees you drop it, then you can hit triangle and be like, "Murder you too, boy."
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was in there or something similar. But I mean, voice acting's great. I mean, I like Arthur more than I thought I would. Just like the promo trailers before the game was out. But yeah, really well acted. I'm trying to be a good person. Sometimes you just gotta shoot people in the back.
Yeah. You're a cowboy, you're an outlaw.
Yeah. But sometimes I just want to be really bad, but I just can't bring myself to doing it.
So is that because of the plot?
No, it's just my moral compass as a human being.
Because in GTA 5, I found it harder to just be a total crazy person because it was so much more plot and character driven. Mm-hmm. So what's his name? The first character you play as
Michael.
Oh no, second character you play as I can't remember. Franklin.
Yeah.
Franklin seemed like an alright guy who's in a shitty circumstance, and I kind of just when I was bored randomly rampage. But obviously, if you switch to Trevor, you're just like, because that's then you're just playing that character.
Yeah.
Well, in the other games, I don't know. I think maybe because the story was the world was more like inert. And like even in GTA 4 and San Andreas and stuff, I love the world of San Andreas, but it was very inert. Like if you weren't doing a mission, the world was kind of just a couple moving parts, so you didn't feel like you were sort of doing the character an injustice, if you forgive the term.
Yeah.
If you just fucked about. But it seems like this is the most immersive and consequential because the people, the people you interact with, from what I understand, if you see them again, they might be like, "I remember you from before."
Yeah.
Which means they just pickpocket them and then know that like that random sprite will never respawn again.
Yeah.
Because I walked 7 meters to the right and that thing died.
Yeah, because there's certainly consequences. Like, I was hesitant to try and find somewhere to sleep in just this random ranch where people worked and lived and everything. It's like I don't want to just walk up to them and just go in their house or anything like that. A, they might call the sheriff, or B, they might be like, "What are you doing?" So
that's when you shoot them in the back.
And turn around to call out the window to the sheriff.
The worst thing is when someone's yelling at Lucy and they're facing her because she's like, "I don't know what to do. Shoot you in the back." You're like, "Where's the look over there button?"
You don't want to see the awful hatred in their eyes as you just shot them in the belly. That's it. You can only shoot them from behind.
Shock and sadness as the life drains out of their.
But it's like I had to go set up camp. It's like I don't want to freak these people out. Go a bit further out and set up camp there. So they're not like, "Who is this guy with a very long beard?" Setting up camp in the middle of our ranch. And it's like I didn't want to do that. I didn't want when I was with.
It's like me turning up in someone's garden with a tent, isn't it?
I was thinking, should I do the Max Payne free kind of look? But I haven't been to the barber yet. My beard is not getting shaved for the entire game. Not
It's all about the Max
Yeah,
Payne
Ben.
3
Yes.
look. That's what it's all about.
See, I'd want just no hair anywhere.
I'm sure it can be done. I want to be very. What is it? His suit.
Because in all westerns, everyone's got some facial hair, regular hair, but like
Just no hair. Not
Like
even
super,
eyebrows.
super svelte, super streamlined,
Yeah.
almost like a seal. Just
looks like
fucking
yeah.
through the
egg.
water.
There's got to be someone who like some candle shop you can get wax from.
It's meant to be realistic. I'm sure there is like a beekeeper somewhere. You can take it. You can fucking get it done.
The game isn't immersive until I can shave my
Shave it all
eyebrows.
off. Done. Oh, let's leave our Red Dead chat there because we'll probably be talking about it next week because no one else is going to be able to play anything else because it's so fucking big.
Yeah.
I
God.
want
It's
to
gonna
buy
be
the game,
entertaining.
and I've been holding back because at least this weekend, I have a big deadline.
Yeah.
Best to. Supposed
Yes,
to hold back.
as I
I
said,
forgot to
I-
bring you God of War back. I still have that, which I haven't put in the machine once. But I appreciate the loan. Although when I was selling off all my PS4 games, I was like, when did I get this game? Huh. And I was like, oh, shit, no, that's Ben's.
put it in pile 2.
Which consists of that game.
Yes. So let's finish there for this week. I think I'd be remiss not to point out that there is a bigger issue surrounding kind of Rockstar and Red Dead Redemption 2 at the moment, but maybe it's something we'll delve into next week after we've spent a little bit of time with the game.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see your opinions. I know there's been a couple of Kotaku pieces and other pieces about
Really
this, but your
good
opinions
piece,
having
yeah.
actually experienced the sort of fruits of that questionable labor.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I think it's maybe something that you need to have experienced. I mean, obviously, it's not things like poor practices in work and not giving people time off and making them work overtime and stuff.
I
It's
hear
not-
your boss is a real asshole.
My boss is a complete cunt. You
Mine
don't
is
need
too.
to experience that product to question those kinds of things. But I think because we have the product, we
pardon
can
the
kind of
gaming
investigate
pun,
it in that
it
way.
gives texture to the conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that will be next week, hopefully. But for the rest of this week, Adam, two beers. Which did you prefer?
I think we should have asked Lucy whether
Oh.
she liked her whether her water was.
She loves her
Oh,
water.
yeah, I love water. So good.
Did you finish it?
10 out of 10. Almost.
You didn't finish your 600 milliliters. Like 200 left. You must have did it. We've had like 2 full beers since then. This is clearly a bad reviewed water. You didn't like the water. That's fine. I just wanted to know.
It's one of those that you don't just need to, keep drinking. It's just very satisfying. Don't always
You
want to
can
go
sup-
for another
you can sup
taste.
it.
And it's such a long finish in the taste that you don't need to re-drink it.
Super soft. Drink all day.
Yeah. 10 out of 10.
There's going to be a tanked up offshoot, and it's going to be like water and like playing card games. Not just card games or board games. The blandest version of tanked up.
Just exactly. Just water from all of our different areas and rummy. Or
See, the key is week
blackjack.
2 is the really exciting week, because that's the one week where you're like, we had sparkling today.
A bottle of water appears. Yes.
Hey, I watched something on I think it was GQ years ago, just like water, like the most expensive water.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it gets
it's like-
up there.
From like Mount
Yeah.
Fuji or something like that.
Having said that,
Years of
I'd be
orphan.
like, I'd
I mean,
love to try that.
I gave you that iceberg water, but you could also iceberg beer. You could also buy the iceberg water.
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh,
Um,
that'd be good. Like just water from up north. It's great. It's so much better. Like I love Birmingham water. It's great, but it's so good from up north.
Right. Good. That's for another offshoot episode. Adel, out of the 2 beers that you had, which did you
Do you give me
prefer this
soft
week?
drinks and board
No!
if card games and water? I know there's no reason for it to delay now. We had the Red Dead talk.
We've done it.
I liked both of the beers. They both sort of hit the summery spots.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the raw power was little more of juice, not beer sort of taste. Like it wasn't huge beer hangers on, except for that odd texture, meaning like a texture I didn't expect.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was drinking it like, do I want a sip of? I wasn't drinking like beer. I was drinking of, this. Do I want a sip of this unique beverage? And the nervous laughter was really excellent. It's made me unsour from sour IPAs.
Okay.
It's quite good, and it's a lot. At 8%, you can't tell. The sour's there, but it's not super sour, and the IPA's there. It's not super IPA, and I think that's exactly why it works so well. Especially, but primarily, it's the fact that like instead of trying to have a blending of the bitter and the sour, it's kind of like in the main taste they sort of dovetail around each other, and there's only that moment in the finish where you're like, oh yeah, I can see them. They're both still around. That you're like, there's a bit of a, to borrow your term, a bit of a clash, but they're also so low level at that point that it's not like jarring. It's really refreshing. It still tastes like beer. Still has that satisfying, slightly wet aftertaste, but like still bitter, so that you still have a reason to reach back. Yeah, it's a solid beer. If you can track it down, I'd recommend.
Yeah, I want to. Fierce make good beers.
Yes. Yeah. As the
left-handed giant. Yeah.
Yes, incredibly.
Nice. Good. Yeah. Very interesting collaboration. I think out of the two that I had, it's a very difficult one because they're both very different beers that kind of hit like different notes. Really, the Marshmallow Stout kind of had a slight warmth to it, even with that delicate balance between that kind of like that sweet toasted and that very kind of floral element to it. Really super balanced beer. With the Ransack the Universe, it was a very kind of I think as you sort of said, Lucy, maybe it's like a backwards IPA. That bitterness was kind of kicking in first, then it was followed up.
Yeah.
Hey, very good.
Yes, good one.
Followed up by that fruitiness, but I think just for from terms of one I would instantly grab again, I'd probably grab the Ransack the Universe from Collective Arts again. Or maybe not now after the Marshmallow Stout. I'm not sure it would follow that up very well, but to have a second one of, if I'd have had 2 cans of Collective Arts here versus 2 bottles of the Marshmallow Stout, I'd have definitely banged through the 2 cans of the Collective Arts before doing the Marshmallow. That kind of floral and that marshmallow sweetness and the toasted kind of nature of that works very well. It's a nice beer, but it is, the more you drink it, sort of edging on that sickly sweetness kind of element. And if it was a bit more viscous, it would definitely be, just one of these would be fine. But with it being a little bit lighter, being 4%, it kind of edges towards me thinking, actually, I could have a little bit more of this. Maybe not a whole bottle, but I could have had some more, definitely. But yeah, the Collective Arts Ransack the Universe, I think, just picks it. So
both solid choices.
Plus, I mean, New Bristol have always got some kind of background with the monkey, the astronaut monkey. Collective Arts is just fucking like a fucking stellar can.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just fucking beautiful.
Puts the metal on the metal can.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. So that's it for this week. Aadil, if people want to talk to you, how do they do so?
You can probably track me down in the University of Bristol Philosophy Library. I do a lot of writing there.
Good.
Or avoiding of writing.
But don't disturb you because you're writing.
Yeah, people do it all the time in the library in the weekend. Anyway, I'm also at the Omniarch, TheOmniarch on, let me see, your Twitters, your Instagrams, your Steams, your Xboxes, but that only counts for my Windows gamings because I sold my Xbox a week and a half ago. PS4, good old games, _Omniarch on Twitch because some asshole has it on Twitch, but it doesn't matter because I don't use Twitch. I will find an algorithm that gets the Omniarch out of my Switch code, and then that'll make sense. Some sort of weird cryptographic mapping. I think that's the Omniarch.com, a defunct website I don't use anymore.
So pretty much on most things.
Everywhere. It's your password to all your banking.
Oh yeah, that's also the case. That if you go to the and you type the Omniarch in both fields, you'll just get access. Yeah.
It's convenient.
Makes it easy.
I think that's all the things.
Good.
Oh, Battle.net. I'm the Omniarch hashtag some 4-digit code.
A number?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's like 2369. I might make that up, probably because I said 69, and I'm juiced now.
Someone else is that though.
Yeah.
So just in case. Lucy, how do people talk to you?
At Tanked Up Lucy, sorry, on Twitter. It's been a long day, and it's due to release 9 on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, and Tap. That's it.
Nice. Good.
Yep.
I'm at Nova_47 almost everywhere, or at least everywhere that I've previously mentioned. If you're a new listener, you have to go back and listen to other episodes. You probably should, if you want to talk to us further, go to Discord and join our Discord server. You can basically, I think you basically put in discord.gg/outoflives, and that should bring us up, I believe. We could send you a code, which is discord.gg/lots of numbers and letters.
And you can ask for that code by contacting us on either the Out of Lives Facebook page,
Yes.
the podcast at outoflives.net email address.
Yes.
No, or do we use tankedupcast@gmail.com still?
Whatever you like.
This is the same thing. And by that I mean, I don't type tech either, so functionally to me, they're the same thing. But
Yes.
also, your email address is functionally the same thing as those email addresses, by that definition. Also, you can reach us on the Twitters at tankedup_cast.
Yep.
And
And go watch our friends, Ross Miller and Dave Wyatt, currently streaming Red Dead, so they'll probably do that for the next few days. So
They will.
yeah, and Dave's wearing a stupid cowboy hat and he looks ridiculous.
Is he really?
It's been popping up on my Xbox, and I'm just like looking over.
I was going to say,
my God.
exclusively on Mixer.
yes.
Yes.
They're
As the
Mixer people.
streaming platform. They're Mixer people.
They're Xbox people.
What is the general name for all of them? Duck Games. For all of them. So Dave,
Yes.
Ross, Bob, several other people who stream underneath Duck Games. But yeah, you can find those guys. They're all playing Red Dead. So you can all, dependent on how which of them you like more, go and watch that person. I suppose.
Watch all of them in separate browsers.
Jesus Christ. You could do that.
See, if I was a streamer, this is when I'd start streaming Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah.
Because everybody would watch that instead of
Right?
Red Dead.
Because I just would find it entertaining, because there'd be a few people who jump in like,
It's just you
God,
playing.
this game was awful. It's so
Not
ugly.
even
Why
talking
is
about the
everyone
game,
bragging
just
about
playing it like constantly.
Or I would find a way to brand the stream as Red Dead, but just play like Desperados or something. Some random
Call of the Juarez or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Something slightly similar but completely different.
I'll just put on a Western.
Oh,
film.
fuck off. I'd play Oregon Trail. That's what I goddamn do.
Graphics pretty much the same.
Enhanced for the Xbox One X. So for another week, we've been tanked up.
Have we?
Bye. Yes.
I've been tanked down. Bye.
Mo.
Tank watered up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what is the inverse of tanked?
Sated.
Tanked.
Quenched.
No,
When
it's
you-
like sobered, but that only works for one version of it, because the other one doesn't. Empty? Empty down?
I don't know.
Tanked.
Helicoptered
Synonyms and
around.
synonyms. It's too much thought. I'm very tired.
It is far too much thought.
So, I will just say, ciao.
Bye.
Layers.
I wanted to say the last word. You guys had 2 other goodbyes, and I didn't say a thing, and I started asking a question, and then I said my goodbye, and you just layered it on. So I'm going to say goodbye.
So sorry. So sorry.